Most people think cats are lazy because they spend so much time sleeping, staring out windows, or suddenly exploding into chaos at ho in the morning for no obvious reason. But what looks random or destructive often comes from something much deeper. A hunting brain with nothing meaningful to hunt. In the wild, cats do not spend most of their time eating. They spend most of their time searching, stalking, tracking movement, calculating distance, chasing, pouncing, failing, and trying again. Researchers estimate that wild cats may spend up to 80% of their waking hours engaged in hunting-related behavior. Every meal is mentally demanding. Every success activates systems in the brain built around problem-solving, movement, anticipation, and reward. Then indoor life removes almost all of it. A bowl appears on the floor at the same time every day, already filled, requiring no effort, no strategy, and no stimulation at all. The cat's body survives, but the hunting system never turns off. It simply has nowhere to go. That is why so many indoor cats suddenly sprint through the house, attack ankles, knock objects off shelves, or become obsessed with movement and attention. Those behaviors are often mislabeled as crazy, aggressive, or difficult when they are actually signs of profound boredom and unmet predatory instincts. A study published in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery found that cats using puzzle feeders displayed reduced stress behaviors and healthier body weight compared to cats fed conventionally from bowls. The food itself did not change. What changed was the mental experience surrounding it. Once the brain had something to solve again, the cat's behavior shifted. Puzzle feeders, hidden food stations, and simple foraging games recreate small pieces of the hunting cycle their nervous systems evolved to expect. Even scattering small portions of food around different parts of the house can dramatically change how a cat behaves throughout the day. Instead of existing in a constant state of restless understimulation, they begin engaging their environment with purpose. The zoomies soften. The frustration decreases. The destructive behaviors often become less intense. What owners frequently interpret as a personality problem is often an intelligent predator trapped inside a life with no challenge, no pursuit, and no meaningful outlet for the instincts evolution spent millions of years designing. One of the biggest mistakes people make with cats is assuming that comfort and safety are obvious to them in the same way they are to us. But cats experience the world primarily through scent, contamination risk, and environmental predictability. Even something as simple as a water bowl can trigger instincts that formed thousands of years before cats ever lived inside homes. In nature, still water is dangerous. Stagnant pools are more likely to contain bacteria, parasites, or decaying organic matter, while moving water is generally cleaner and safer. Cats evolved with that survival logic built directly into their nervous systems. That is why so many cats ignore perfectly filtered fresh bowls of water, but immediately become interested the moment a faucet turns on. It is not a quirky personality trait. It is ancient biological programming. This matters even more because cats naturally have weak thirst drives. Their wild ancestors received most of their hydration directly from prey, so domestic cats were never designed to drink large amounts of standing water throughout the day the way dogs do. When dry food becomes the primary diet, many cats live in a state of chronic mild dehydration without owners realizing it. Over time, that can contribute to kidney disease, urinary inflammation, crystals, and dangerous blockages, especially in male cats. Running water fountains help interrupt that cycle by making water easier to detect, more appealing, and more instinctively trustworthy. Studies published in the Journal of Veterinary Internal Medicine found that cats with access to flowing water consumed significantly more fluids throughout the day. But hydration is only one side of the safety system cats constantly monitor. The litter box activates the exact same instincts. Humans often judge cleanliness visually, but cats evaluate it chemically. With roughly 200 million scent receptors in their noses compared to about 5 million in humans, a litter box that smells fine to us may already feel overwhelming to them. In the wild, cats instinctively bury waste to avoid attracting predators and competitors. A dirty litter box does not simply feel unpleasant. It feels unsafe. Research in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery showed that many cats actively avoid unscooped litter boxes even when no medical problems are present. Some will hold their urine, while others begin eliminating elsewhere in the home. The solution is not punishment, but understanding the survival system underneath the behavior. Most veterinarians recommend one litter box per cat plus one extra, along with regular scooping and complete litter replacement weekly. To humans, these routines feel like chores. To cats, they are signals that the environment remains safe, stable, and biologically livable. Cats experience the world through scent in a way humans almost cannot imagine. To us, smell is background information. To a cat, it is identity, memory, territory, emotional safety, and social connection all at once. That is why cats rub their faces against furniture, doorways, and especially the people they trust. They are not simply being affectionate. They are building a scent map that tells their nervous system this place is safe and these beings belong to them. The same instinct explains why cats sleep on worn clothes, curl up beside shoes, or lie directly on a jacket that still smells like its owner. They are seeking emotional security through scent contact. Research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that cats exposed to their owner's scent displayed calmer behavior and lower stress levels even in unfamiliar environments. Your smell does not function as simple recognition to them. It functions as reassurance. When you leave the house, your scent remains behind as evidence that their safe person still exists somewhere beyond the room. That is why some anxious cats settle beside a recently worn sweater or pillowcase when left alone. It acts almost like an emotional anchor for their nervous system. This is also why excessive cleaning can unintentionally disrupt a cat's sense of stability. Humans often use strong detergents, air fresheners, or heavily scented sprays to make spaces feel cleaner. But to a cat, those smells can erase the familiar scent markers that help them feel secure inside their territory. Washing bedding too often or constantly removing scent traces may make the environment feel emotionally unfamiliar even when nothing visually changed. One of the simplest ways to comfort a cat is leaving a lightly worn shirt or blanket near their favorite sleeping area. It sounds small, but to them, it carries the scent signature of safety, attachment, and predictability. Your cat is not just attached to your presence. They are attached to the invisible chemical identity you leave behind everywhere you go. Most people never realize how physically overwhelming they appear from a cat's perspective. Humans are enormous compared to them. We move quickly, tower overhead, reach down from above, and often invade space without warning. Even in loving homes, that size difference creates constant low-level pressure a cat is always aware of. Animal behavior research consistently shows that height, posture, and movement strongly influence how animals interpret threat. A tall figure leaning forward can feel intimidating even when no harm is intended. That is why some cats hesitate when approached standing up, but become noticeably more social the moment a person sits on the floor. Lowering yourself changes the entire interaction. Your body becomes smaller, slower, and less imposing. The cat no longer has to crane upward to monitor your face or brace for a hand descending from above. Instead, they can approach at their own pace and maintain control over distance, which is one of the most important parts of feline social comfort. Cats generally trust environments they can control, not situations where interaction is forced onto them. When owners constantly pick cats up, follow them, or reach toward them first, the cat may tolerate the interaction while still feeling subtly stressed. But quietly sitting nearby without demanding attention creates a completely different emotional experience. The cat can observe safely, decide when to approach, and leave whenever they choose. That freedom dramatically lowers social pressure. Many owners are surprised by how quickly shy or distant cats begin approaching once the human simply becomes physically less overwhelming. Sometimes, the strongest bonding moment is not calling the cat, touching the cat, or offering treats. It is simply sitting calmly on the floor and allowing the cat to discover that your presence no longer feels intimidating. To a cat, safety often begins with having enough space to choose connection voluntarily. Most homes are designed entirely around human movement. Furniture sits at ground level, pathways stay open horizontally, and nearly every space is built for creatures that feel secure standing on the floor. But cats did not evolve for a horizontal world. They evolved as both predator and prey, which means survival has always depended on being able to climb, observe, hide, and escape quickly when necessary. Height gives cats something humans rarely think about directly: control. From an elevated position, a cat can monitor the environment without being approached unexpectedly. They can see movement before it reaches them, avoid conflict without confrontation, and retreat without feeling trapped. In nature, climbing to higher ground creates safety. A cat above the environment is harder to corner, harder to surprise, and more capable of regulating distance from potential threats. When indoor cats are forced to spend their entire lives at floor level, many lose access to one of the most important emotional regulation systems their species evolved to depend on. The result is often subtle but powerful. Cats without vertical territory may become more anxious, hide more frequently, startle easily, avoid social interaction, or develop tension around people and other pets inside the home. Research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that cats with access to elevated spaces displayed significantly lower stress levels and increased confidence when interacting with humans and unfamiliar environments. Vertical territory does not simply entertain cats. It changes how secure they feel psychologically. That is why cat trees near windows, wall-mounted shelves, cleared bookshelves, and elevated resting spots can completely transform behavior. Many owners describe their cats becoming calmer, more affectionate, and more socially confident after adding climbing spaces to the environment. The cat has not suddenly developed a different personality. The nervous system simply no longer feels trapped. Even something as simple as a perch near a window gives a cat the ability to observe safely while remaining emotionally regulated. Height allows them to participate in the household without constantly feeling exposed. A home can contain love, food, toys, and affection, but if a cat has nowhere elevated to retreat, watch, and feel ownership over their environment, part of their survival brain may never fully relax. Vertical territory is not decoration to a cat. It is emotional architecture.